Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got an amazing guest, David Hebner, with me today. And we have a lot of major announcements in regards to the last Evangelist TV series that's coming up here. He's going to get started on that. I've been bringing that up, but we have a lot of stuff to talk about as far as biblical end times, what's going on, Agenda 21, all kinds of things, even cryptocurrencies. But with that, I have a great announcement. A lot of all the videos that you're seeing here, some of my channel and David Hebner's channel are going to be going on Roku at davidhebner.tv, also on Amazon, Android, and all of those outlets. So we're kind of kicking that off, but lots to talk about. But let's bring on David Hebner. So are you with me over there?
Hey, Lisa, how are you there? And you're looking great, by the way, nice and bright and shiny. So.
Thank you. Yeah, we got my little friends here. Hopefully you might hear the snores.
Right, and Diesel's in the background, so it's good to be here with you. How are things out there where you are?
Really good, really good. So tell us, let's just kick it off. I know you've kicked off David Hebner TV. I've said that. Also, people can go to lastevangelist.com. But tell me, let's just dive right into Bible prophecy, and that's kind of what the movie's on. But tell me specifically, what's going on in current events? Let's start with Agenda 21, and how is that involving in real life, if you will, to what's going on biblically speaking?
Right, Lisa, you know, when I started writing Last Evangelist, it deals with CSI meets Revelation, okay? So it's basically investigating the happenings of what's going on today based on the book of Revelation. And here's what I find very interesting, okay? I want to bring up something about these fires in California. Does anybody ask the question of how did all these fires get started almost at the same time? And maybe who might be starting these fires and why they're starting? I mean, I got questions. Am I too far out there? Does that make any sense, Lisa, what I'm talking about?
Well, you know, there's always a reason. And so what do you think is going on there?
Well, okay, here's the deal. So I'm writing the script going back, because, you know, when you write these scripts, you got to come up with something that makes sense. I mean, you can't just write crazy stuff, because people watch this and they go, okay, where'd you get that at, Hebner? And so as I'm writing it, and I'm creating a story where the government is grouping people in cities and taking them out of the country and out of the countryside, because they need to put them in these cities so they can, have more control over them, right? We're talking the one world government, which I want to get into in just a minute. Well, how did they do that? Well, first of all, they create natural disasters in different parts of the country that will drive people more to be together so that they will be in a community, right? And I'm looking at seeing all these disasters now that's been going on with the hurricanes, with these fires, and et cetera, and I'm looking at the whole map going, wait a minute. If I was writing this as a script, which I am, I would write it exactly this way. How would the one world government come in to America and start moving people like a chessboard into certain locations so they could have more control over them, right? And then I started researching Agenda 21, which you're the expert in that. I'm not even going to pretend like I know much about it. But how does Agenda 21 fit into what I'm talking about, or does it at all?
Yeah, definitely. Because look, there's an agenda and they want to make everything go green, and it all spans with Agenda 21. It spans with the false narrative of global warming, global cooling, climate change. They can't even get the name right, which tells me from the get-go, it's all about a ploy to put the money in the hands of the people that they want it in, where they can implement and have a reason to push Agenda 21, which is what they're doing in our schools and everything. So here's the thing. When you take in man-made or natural disasters, and man-made is legit. There's a document, Weather Warfare, put together by government or government organizations. If I can find it, I'm going to throw it up on the screen, and I'll leave a link below for everyone. It's not a conspiracy. It's a fact. They can do this. They can also cloud seed. Great thing to Google. But all of this is fully documented, fully not conspiracy. The government labels things conspiracy, and those in the deep state, so people think, oh, it's fake by that term. But but a lot of the times it's not fake. There are legit information on it. So when you have these disasters, it kind of makes people more fearful that this is part of global warming or global cooling. So it brings in that narrative that this is what's happening. And so, oh my gosh, we're all going to die. And so if I don't go green, or if I don't give in and stop breathing, because we have carbon dioxide, and that's a problem, Agenda 21, or if we don't kill off half our population, we're all going to die. So who's willing to die for the cause? And this is what Agenda 21 is really at its root. And I've read all 300 some odd pages of that thing. Very tedious, but definitely part of the agenda. I've done multiple videos, so it's heading in that direction, and that ties with the biblical narrative as well, because God does forewarn us that those things would happen.
Right, exactly. Jesus talks about it in Matthew 24. But let me ask you this about Agenda 21. Don't they talk something about the nature that we're supposed to worship nature? That, in other words, put nature above humanity? Right? We're supposed to worship the creation instead of the creator, right? And this brings me back to another interesting thing, Lisa, I want to throw out. Like in California, where I'm from, it's like they're spending $100 billion gazillion dollars building a high-speed rail all the way from, the top of California down to Mexico, when they could be putting money into all this other stuff. And here's my question, and it's just a question. Could it be they're building these high-speed rails and these trains across the country so that they can transport people when the time comes?
Definitely. We saw, that's why... I do. That's why Nazi Germany, if you go back to Nazi Germany, where were all the concentration camps? They were near railroad tracks. Well, there's two goals. That would definitely be one reason. It's an easy access to hoard people around. The second purpose is an Agenda 21 purpose and a control purpose. So you're easily more controllable. You can get less people. Look, when we have our own vehicles and we drive, we are under control. But now they're making these Google self-driving cars because you don't have the control. They're also putting in these high rails and stuff, so less people buy vehicles and have control, and they have the control. They have the power. So ultimate power corrupts, absolutely, is kind of what we're seeing, but it's a control mechanism. If I encourage people to Google America2050.com or org, one of the two, but it brings up maps of 11 different megacities that they want America to go into to push you into sections to get rid of the rural living people, because rural is more self-sustainable. They don't want your self-sustainability. They want control.
Oh, that's beautiful, because here's the thing. And how did they get people out of the country? I mean, how did the countryside? Well, they start putting all these rules and regulations on nature that you can't do this, you can't do that. They start prohibiting you, right? So they start grouping you together in what I call modern day projects, the projects. And so now we're all grouped together. And now you're right, they have control. Now they're building the railways so that these railways go by each of the projects, right? Each of these cities, so they can take you to a FEMA camp. So I want to ask you about FEMA camps. How many FEMA camps? First of all, what is a FEMA camp?
It's under the head of FEMA, if you will, and they're camps that are supposed to be rescue facilities in the event, like RX-84 centers. I'll give you an example. You can classify that as a FEMA camp. There is a document that I'm referencing, so people don't have to take my word for it. It's called Internment and Resettlement Document. I'll throw it up on the screen. I'll leave a link below. But in this document, it has nothing to do with prisons. It's within the last 10 years, this thing was created. There's prisons before, but they're FEMA camps, and they talk about RX-84 centers, which are supposedly on our border in the event of a mass crossover. This is a place that immigrants can go. Problem is, when you look at these facilities that they're building, they have guard towers set up all around them, triple and double and quadruple barbed wire fencing in the inside and the outside, and you're treated like a prisoner. You're allowed to make one phone call. They confiscate your cell phones. They confiscate your personal property. If this was really all about, and this, I will throw up those diagrams on the screen as I talk about them that show the prison facilities, so people don't have to take my word for it. It's there. I've read the entire document. But if it was really just about people crossing the border, then why not have it a little less secure? Why make it like the level of a prison with guard towers and guns and safety and outfits? And even there's another one, that civil labor document that makes the American people or people that they have in those facilities work laborious for free. Another document. Now, that said, the number of FEMA camps that are out there on these maps is highly exaggerated. Highly exaggerated. There's not that many.
Yeah, how many are there? That's my question.
There's about 30, it's a little over 30, so 30, 35, 36, I think was the number. I'm going off the top of my head. Now, the map shows like hundreds of these things, but that's because the map that you Google online shows places that can be converted. I don't count the can be converted. Obviously, they do that. They have converted many airports for temporary facilities. In the event of Katrina, they did that. Or in the event of a hurricane, they did that. Or they brought mobile things. That happens. That's often, right? But these are actual hardcore facilities that I'm talking about. And some of the facilities, a lot of them are unmanned. Nobody's at them. Some of them are dead in the water. Others are manned with no people in them. Others actually do have some immigrants in them. But for the most part, when we had the mass immigration crossover, no, they weren't being put into the RX-84 centers. They were given bus tickets and said to go off across the country. So we have this whole thing and it's not even part of it. So you have to wonder, what is it really for if you actually didn't use it, especially during Obama's administration when they were all crossing over? What's the real purpose?
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I want to announce to our audience, I think I've said this before, but I want to make it official. Lisa Haven is absolutely starring in The Last Evangelist. Okay. Now, I have to tell you, I went out to audition her in person. All right. And this gal can act, folks. I mean, Lisa, you're a good actress. I mean, have you ever studied before? I mean, because you're just natural. It's like we went back and watched your tape back in LA, and I told my crew, I said, watch this. And they go, wow, what's she been on? What has she done? I said, well, she talks about stuff in her living room. You know, she's on YouTube. She's on the internet. Have you acted before?
No, I have never taken an acting class or anything.
That's great. You're a natural, and I'm glad to have you in the project. Okay. I really am.
Tell them about the upcoming, because I know we're going to do crowdfunding come March. Keep that in mind, because this is all for the movie that I'm going to be in. David's going to be in. It's going to be our TV series. I keep saying movie. TV series.
It belongs to us, folks. It's going to air on David Heaven TV. It'll air worldwide on Roku, Amazon, all the major platforms. We already have distribution set up. We're going to do a crowdfunding. Why? Because I need to raise the rest of the money to make this, to shoot this and give it the great quality it needs to have. Okay. This series is going to be around for a long time, like Gunsmoke, 20 years or more. Okay. So what we're going to do is in March, we're going to hold a crowdfunding campaign, which means you'll go to a place like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, and you can donate money. But before then, starting January the 1st, we are now going to start advertising it, telling people all about it. Because, folks, we need to build our list so that when we do crowdfund, we have people to contact. So if you could go to lastevangelist.com and please sign that list. There's a newsletter, sign on it. We've got your name, we've got your information, and plus I'm going to send you out stuff anyway. You'll get notices and you'll get notified on things that's important. So, yeah, so that's what we're doing.
Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe. It's on lastevangelist.com, and there's a link for the newsletter there. I'm going to have it below, but subscribe to the newsletter. It's a very easy click, but it'll give you updates on the movie and keep you in the realm of what's going on. So subscribe to that newsletter, so we at least have the email profile that we can send out updates for that. So anyhow,
thank you. Yeah. And Lisa, also, too, if they go on the site, you can donate now. And we have gotten donations. And I really want to thank people that's donated and signed up. But the people that's donated, I just want to say God bless you. And I appreciate it. And I'm praying for you, too. You're part of the team. Very valuable. So if you want to go on ahead of time, go on the site. You can go ahead and donate ahead of time before the crowdfunding even comes up. And I promise you, and that's why I'm so happy that Lisa's in this, that I really pray to God that the Holy Spirit gives me the wisdom to write these episodes in the way that's going to give you information that's going to help you guys out there. Okay. It'll be entertainment, but it's also going to give you valuable advice. All right. Lisa, so segueing into that real quick, I need to ask you this question. So now that we've got the FEMA camp set up, we've got railroads going all through the country. We've got these fires happening, these natural disasters where they're slowly herding us into groups. Man, this sounds just like a TV series. Now they need to go one step further in our barter and trade, and we need to go into a cashless society. And my question is, I see Bitcoin, I see cryptocurrency, and this is cashless, right? Does that fit into our cashless society? Does it fit into this at all?
It could. It could. I know people ask about that because I bring Bitcoin and on my channel, not Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency. And, there is a lot of possibility. So definitely, because it is a virtual coin, it could make, the world go cashless, if you will. But it's one of those, I think we got to wait and see where it goes, because there are different versions. You have Litecoin, Ethereum, you have Bitcoin, you have Venezuela making their own. So it's kind of turning into a virtual money, but not yet that global thing that I'm looking for, I guess, which more of you can link it to the mark of the beast. Could it eventually be linkable? Possible. I don't discount that that's a possibility in the near future. So something to keep an eye out, if you will, definitely. Well, with that, David, we are kind of short on time. I don't want to go too long. I think we're at
all right,
almost 20 minutes. So we got to cut it short.
Oh man, time. Hey, it goes fast when you're having fun. I gotta get off of here because I have to go buy some Bitcoin. So, excuse me.
Well, cool. Well, thanks again for tuning into my channel. Don't forget to subscribe to that newsletter. Go to davidhevnertv.com, and also go to lastevangelist.com and subscribe to that newsletter. It's a simple subscription, and keep a lookout or a heads up for the crowdfunding in March. And you can also donate on David Hevner's channel there. But the Last Evangelist TV series is going to be amazing. Well, thanks again for tuning in. This is Lisa Haven, and
hey, David Heavener. And don't forget, Lisa, I got to get you a t-shirt, Last Evangelist t-shirt.
Oh, I got one. I should have wore it.
Oh, you should have worn it. Okay. All right. Well, take care and God bless you.
You too. God bless. And thanks again for tuning in. God bless you guys also.